All right, we're live then.
Hello, welcome to the Punk Rock Libertarians podcast. Oh wow, episode 399. We're almost to 400, guys.
Oh shit,
yeah. Pretty cool. So tonight I'm with Jared, just Jared.
Hello.
And then MDM on demand, the man
What's
himself.
What's up, guys? How we doing?
Alexander 46079636 in the building.
Right.
I know.
The other ones all got zucked, right?
Yeah.
Previous.
All the previous
Started
ones.
it- million or whatever that is.
That's what he's up to now.
Please change that for the love of God. Make it simpler.
I'm such a boomer. I don't know how to do it.
I'll show you.
some.
We're out in Reno. I'll show you.
Yeah, there'll
And,
be a lot of downtime.
For real. And of course, the legendary, the infamous Kyle Wagner.
Well,
Hey,
wait,
everybody.
but
How you
wait,
doing
there's
tonight?
more.
Oh, there's one more. Yay! Woo!
But wait, there's more.
One of the most base guests of all time joining us again for episode 399, Nikki Pinecone.
Who's still working on his audio?
Welcome, everybody.
Okay.
This is a great start. I love when we start like this.
Yeah.
So,
Way to kick it
oh
off.
man. So we were just talking right before we went live about the stage dive heard around the world from one truly, Mr. Otto himself. Yeah, man. So we talked about it last week. I know I was at the Auto Bar on Sunday. I saw Agnostic Front, sick of it all. But then this time, Terror came to town. They're one of my favorite bands, and it's one of the best venues to see them. It was so fucking cool. It was just so awesome going back. I know I made a weepy post about it online. If you guys are friends with me, check it out.
It is so fucking long.
It was. That's what. Hey, the TLDR was the best. All right. I just simply said, "Stage dives make me feel alive." That was the best. That was the best line I could come up with. So it's funny because a lot of people don't really understand how someone as big as me would stage dive, but I wasn't the only one. There was another big guy. There's another guy I used to go to shows with. His name's Ham. His nickname was Ham. He's short. He's shorter than me. He's kind of big. He's not really fat. I mean, but he's actually a bouncer at the club now, which I didn't know. I've seen him in years. And so when Terror came on, Terror, if anyone knows Terror, Scott Vogel, lead singer, he demands stage dives. He's constantly feeding people come on, everyone move up, stage dive, just constant. They even call it Vogelisms. If you look up Google Vogelisms, and it's just the best thing. So the guy Ham, he took off his security guard shirt and then ran on stage and jumped on the whole just head walked on people and then ran back down to his post and put it back on his shirt. A security guard. I've never seen something like that at a show, which was fucking awesome.
Did anybody catch you?
No, I did knock over a guy. He wasn't trying to catch me. He just fell because I jumped feet first. Because when you're as big as I am, you jump feet first.
I didn't understand how the logistics of it. I guess I'd have to see it in person.
Yeah,
to
there's
know how
videos.
this
Oh,
works.
I have tons of videos. From the show and of people just.
I mean, I'm imagining the bigger issue is the density of people at one of those shows.
Yes.
There's just not that many people to hold up an auto.
There was enough people there. It depends. Sometimes the front of the crowd it thins, and then the pit kind of absorbs a little bit of it. It thins out.
You definitely could have survived My Chemical Romance 2006. Even on those frail little twiggy arms, there's just enough people squeezed into a square inch that you weren't gonna
Fun fact.
go down.
Little fun fact. I actually saw My Chemical Romance at the Auto Bar before they got big.
Was it 2006?
No, it's 2004. 2004, right before
That's
they
pretty
released
dope.
Yeah, and it was so cool. I had seen them. I saw they were actually my brother's band was playing, so I was working the merch table for my brother, and I just hanging out with the guys.
They're
them and Less Than Jake or something.
They're still the most intense show I've ever been to in my life. And
really?
In their 45 minutes. It was because like I said, I saw them in 2006. So we're talking peak of 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge and just before the Black Parade comes out. And they're one of the biggest bands in the world at that point in time. And I caught them at the Warped Tour in Pittsburgh. So an outdoor show in August. and with just like their manic energy. In 45-minute set, they had to stop to pull people out of the crowd like 3 different times. And
That's
like the
weird.
sheer mass of people is why I use
How
this
hot
as a
was it?
reference. I almost didn't make it home, almost crashed my car because like there was no way to keep hydrated. Ended up getting a Charlie horse in my car by myself in
while
fucking
driving.
in traffic pulling out of Post Gazette Pavilion. It was awful. Like I'm trying not to die really bad. But I've never been picked up by a crowd. And like normally you'll get moved by the crowd like 5 to 10 feet when the crowd gets like rushes that stage in the beginning. I kid you fucking not, dude. 50 fucking feet, 60, 70 maybe. Like I lost my shoes because I wasn't quite expecting it to be that intense, and it picked my entire fucking body up, and I was in a completely different part of the amphitheater when the actual start happened. It was nuts. And you're like, for fucking My Chemical Romance. Those fucking scene kids, man. That's all it is. I would have wished that would have been for Terror, though. That would have been much cooler.
Yeah. So I just sent Jared the
That place
picture.
is
There's
so-
a picture of me as I'm jumping into the crowd, and you'll see how it's kind of face. I don't know if you can put it up. I can't figure out how to.
Yeah,
I didn't post it online.
I tried
But
to find a
it's-
video. Someone pulled one down though, unfortunately.
Oh, I got all the videos because the girl I was with, it's my buddy Norman's girlfriend. She was up there. So if you notice, I'm feet first into the crowd, but I accidentally like knocked this person that's over in front of me. But look at this guy's look of horror in his face.
I like the guy screaming over
You
here.
see him?
Look
at his face. Yeah,
Hold on.
watch. If you zoom in, it's pretty funny.
Oh shit, that's hilarious.
Yeah, you want
I didn't want to.
Face.
you want a few more people per square foot for Otto.
Dude, there's a couple people in the back that are just like, oh my god, what is
Dude,
gonna happen?
Should I be up there helping?
They're like,
was
no. They're saying no.
Takes a team
They
effort.
had every opportunity to move out of the way. I'm not that.
The dude on the right with the football jersey and
Mhm.
he's like, I'm gonna catch you, but he has like
Look
the
at the guy
worst
to the left.
stance.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I get so jealous that you live in a city where like those bands actually tour. I've
No one comes to Cleveland?
never lived anywhere that I've had the opportunity to see any of those bands.
They don't come out to wonderful Cleveland.
Nobody fucking comes to Cleveland. Kidding
Fuck
me?
Cleveland rocks.
Cold as hell. It's snowy 7 months out of the fucking year.
That's true. But still, people
Well,
got
you
I-
moved though, right? You moved to Pittsburgh, right?
No, we're camping out here for a little while longer.
Oh, okay.
But
Well, if you move to Pittsburgh, a lot of bands come through Pittsburgh.
I mean,
Maybe
it's
look at-
only 2 hours difference between here and Pittsburgh, but
yeah,
it's not like it's forever.
Yeah.
But
Is there a lot of punching at that show, Otto?
Mhm.
They punch each other.
Did
Oh,
you
yeah.
watch anybody for wearing a mask?
no, there were people actually like stage diving and jumping in the crowd with a mask on. I'm like, what are you doing?
Stupid.
What are you doing?
like there are going to be
Retard.
Called
fingers
signaling,
inside
dude.
you, and you're worried about fucking air.
Yeah, here I'll send you over the video, Jared. I don't know if you want to play it eventually, but it was such a great time. I mean, you just literally just feel like alive. I absolutely love it. I was so glad I went. I'm so glad I did all of that. I'm sending. There's a video here, Jared. Just sent it to you.
I'm glad you can still do that shit in your your age, because
Your old age.
no, dude, I've gone to see bands and shit like from my youth. Like, I can't take it for more than 5 fucking minutes before I'm standing in the back, like on
Where
with
did
all
you
the,
send
with
it to me,
all
Phil?
the, with all the parents going,
Facebook.
man, these damn kids.
Damn kids.
I
I
don't
don't,
see
know, I don't
it.
know how good they have it.
I just see the picture of you.
Oh well, here. Let me try another. Let me see if I can get this.
So my last time seeing Real Big Fish, that was my experience.
Yeah,
I'm trying
even
to
Real
talk-
Big Fish.
dude. Real Big Fish, like their audience is still 15 is the problem.
Really?
Like, yes, and so because their audience is still 15, like they're still nuts. Just
we get
fucking
older, but they
skate-
stay the same
skate-
age.
well, no, that's
Wasn't
the
that
joke. That's the joke. I'm in the back, like I'm like all winded and like have to take care of myself when I go talking to this woman in the back of the audience, and
Wasn't
oh
it?
my god, it's weird seeing these guys, at this age, and she looks at me and was like, yeah, my son's down there.
Wasn't it when
Wow.
we were all at Kyle's wedding? We took the picture and Bergman was there, and we all took a picture with Kyle and Pete Quinones. I think commented like, "Oh man, real big fish looks rough."
Yeah.
And it was all of us.
Actually, pretty
That was funny. All right, Jared, I sent 2 videos to you on Facebook. It said it was sent. I don't know.
All right.
But yeah,
Fuck.
man, the show is so good. Like I can't wait. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, I don't know. They're
had
not coming through for some reason. Maybe they're still like
Oh, well.
uploading in Facebook.
Where are you
land.
trying to send them? Oh, through Facebook? Oh, good
Yeah.
luck on
Yeah.
that, man.
I could try.
No, it's
Meta.
it's terrorist activity, clearly.
Yeah.
Well, I plan on going back. It sucks. You know, they're still doing the testing thing, whatever, but they're not really. They're not. So I got one test, right, and I cropped it so you could see. I didn't want to say this until I went, but I cropped it so you couldn't see the date. It just said my name, negative for COVID, blah blah blah. Here's the doctor's name. Here's the thing, and I just cropped the date out. And I gave it to him. And he just looked at it and said negative, made sure it checked my name, and he let me in. I was like, all right.
Yeah,
No
they got a
worries.
whole line of people. They're not really scrutinizing it too much, nor do they really care that much, you know. So
Clearly, because none of the people that like there may be like 1 or 2 of the people that work there had masks on, even though they
Mhm.
enforce this stupid thing. You know, they don't. I could tell like most of the people don't care.
I've heard of a few
Some do.
people around me that have recently tested positive. So I do suspect that cases are going back up. You know, one guy
Oh,
this is his
absolutely.
second bout with it. You know,
And they're still
Double jabbed
testing
and boosted.
stupid.
what's that?
They're
Double
still-
jabbed and boosted, and
Well, that's the people who are actually getting it is the people that have been jabbed and boosted.
dude, for real, like everybody I know.
Yeah, no, I can't remember. I actually saw a chart like the people who were most likely to get it were people that had been like who didn't have a natural immunity to it. People that had been, stuck.
Yeah, somebody was asking in my group, like, do you wear a mask? You know, what's your personal mask policy? And I haven't been wearing one anywhere. I was kind of like, I said, you know, we could go around wearing hazmat suits everywhere, right? We could really shut out we could filter all the air that we breathe, or we could just stay in the house. But it's like, you know, we have an immune system that is designed to protect us from illnesses. And the masks, I don't think are that effective.
Well,
You
didn't
know,
the
and they're
CDC's
uncomfortable.
Didn't the CDC's last statement on it show that definitively, unless you're wearing an N95, they don't do shit?
Yeah.
And it's
So I've been
fitted
wearing
So,
and regularly changed too. That's another
Yeah.
important part of it.
yeah, no, that was always my big
Completely
thing like, from the
shaved.
beginning. By the way, like if you do exactly, if the whole world did what they said we should be doing for fucking, proper N95 use, we would destroy the planet in a matter of like 2 years because of the fucking all of what we would need material wise to make the masks and all of the disposal of the material or of the masks. Like it would just be completely untenable.
Yeah.
So
I
that's
would
why you
wear
gotta
those
stay
blue
home like
ones.
China.
I was wearing those blue ones. I would throw them away when they like start looking dirty, you know, kind of ratty. I think you're supposed to throw them away after one use, but I would usually wear the same one.
Every
for like
time
a
you
week.
touch the mask,
Yeah.
it becomes a petri dish for every fucking thing that's on your hands.
Oh,
And
great.
then you're holding all that shit directly into your face. No, they
Mhm.
definitely caused more damage with masks than any help they could possibly cause.
Well, that was a lot of the thing they said during the Spanish flu, when people would wear masks, they would get bacterial pneumonia because they would wear it for so long, and they didn't think anything about washing it. They would just keep putting it on their face, and a lot of people would get bacterial pneumonia from that. Now, there's a lot of people who say that, I'm not trying to sit there and say the whole pandemic of 1918 was caused by that. There are some people who say that's not it, but there was definitely cases where they were. That's why they weren't recommended for any future pandemic that ever happened. That's why you never saw that. You never saw like, oh, heavy flu season, we're instituting a mask mandate, because they know they didn't work. They knew that.
Well, I mean, as everyone who said, why are we ignoring the past 50 years of science on masks?
I know.
All of a sudden,
God,
like
that's the
right
most-
now, like, oh, hey, we have 50 years of studies on this shit, all showing this, but it's suddenly different.
Right. So frustrating.
You're gonna need to show me how different it is, people. Sorry.
I think they're a psychological. They're like a security blanket for people. They feel protected when they go out.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
But I mean that works. That becomes a danger though, right? Because if we can see that it is more likely to spread when you come closer to somebody, right? By telling people like, oh, you'll be fine if you wear the mask, they're less likely to keep that
Yes.
distance, right?
Yeah, but that's only a problem if you want to keep people alive, and your goal isn't to
Right.
cause mass death.
Right, sure.
The
Well,
Guidestones
I think-
told us.
It's the perfect metaphor for government. It's uncomfortable, it's awful, it's annoying, it's the worst thing ever, and it's just the illusion of safety. So it's perfect representation for government. Wouldn't you say that, Kyle?
Aren't they? What's funny is they're recommending him for like monkeypox, and monkeypox isn't even fucking transmissible through the air.
They are.
Yeah,
Who's recommending them this?
I
Yeah.
can't remember. It was at least one European nation was requiring masking.
We got to get into this. Like, let's go into this monkeypox thing.
It's
I
kind of
thought this
fucking
was
gay sex. That's all it is.
well. Wow, thanks, Nick. I thought that this whole thing, this monkeypox thing, was kind of like, quote unquote, our side, kind of boosting it up. That people weren't actually talking about it. I thought it was kind of just like the people who are over COVID were talking about this, kind of like, oh, great, here comes the next one. But then I was actually really dumbfounded to find out that people were really talking about monkeypox.
No,
Like,
you mean wait, no. Here, let's go real deja vu here. The end of last year, the World Economic Forum ran a monkeypox thing. It was similar. Remember event 201?
Yeah, I heard that today too.
Right.
Yeah, they ran an event, whatever the fuck it was called, for monkeypox.
What country was it? Let me look that up. Because there was a news report.
You can't make this shit up.
I mean, you could. Is it actually verified? Can we get a source on this?
You find us the docs because I do know it's accurate. It wasn't from like a stupid source. It was, someone like Tim Pool or someone who actually verifies.
Yeah.
Well, I just know that I did see some media talking about monkeypox. I'm like, wow, okay, and it's just so fucking annoying.
Well,
Well,
apparently
it-
they've instituted some kind of lockdown in
Mhm.
Belgium, but
That's where it was.
If you read closely, they're only locking down people that actually like have the disease.
That's not a lockdown.
How long is the lockdown
I mean, that's
for?
quarantine. It's a
Also?
quarantine, I think, but the article calls it a lockdown. But if you read up on it, it's like, well, I mean, if you've got it, probably.
Well,
that's
Then
not
you
a
have like
lockdown.
fucking pox is breaking out all over your
you
body.
have
Like,
to, it's a 21-day quarantine, and you have to prove that like you don't have it when you're done. That kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Okay, so this is a Fox News article, but it said this was on.
So it's fair and balanced.
It's fair and balanced. But May 23rd, monkeypox likely spread by sex at 2 raves in Europe. Expert. Scientists unsure if spread is being driven by sex or close contact. The leading advisor at the World Health Organization described the unprecedented outbreak of monkeypox in developed countries as a random event.
And it's not unprecedented at all. It
That might-
happens all the fucking time to like 5 people, and then that's it.
Yeah.
Says,
or meanwhile, in Pennsylvania,
Yeah, for real. That
a
happened.
lab
Remember back-
test monkey is on the loose after a truck crash.
We
No,
have,
that was back in February, though.
Oh, this
that
is
was
back
back
in
in
February?
February. But
We
still,
have,
January.
we do
Yeah.
have one woman in Boston, I believe, has tested positive for monkeypox in the U.S. Is all I've heard.
It's kind of like the Ebola breakout of 20 whatever.
It's just the one that we can get people to really amp up, and I think that's all these things ever are. Is this going to be the one that people really glom onto? Whereas like COVID, they did. COVID was interesting in that I know the exact moment that I knew it was going to be what it was, and that's when the NBA canceled
Yep.
their season. That was the exact moment. Like, this
Rudy
is gonna be
Gobert.
fucking crazy. Because
Yep,
they're not going to throw that much money off the table without.
Rudy Gobert, he was with I believe the
Jazz.
Charlotte. No, the Jazz was the Jazz.
I think, yeah, because
I can't remember. But I remember he was like, oh yeah, whatever, and he touched all the microphones after he left. And then like the next day he tested positive for COVID, and they were like, yeah, we're gonna shut down the season. I'm like, oh no. And then baseball shut down, and that's when I knew like
Here's what's funny.
That was
How many
great.
deaths were there within professional sports
0.
They took the placebo.
until vaccinations happened? At which point, every soccer player in the world starts dropping dead in their 20s.
There was
Yeah.
someone just the other day. I think it was yesterday. I saw it was like some athlete was playing, and this was local here. This was and just collapsed, and they don't know why. He just collapsed and
Well,
died.
they don't. They just won't say why. They know why.
Yeah.
Apparently, I showed up with my conspiracy hat like fully.
I know,
bolted
I
on
love it.
today.
I love the way you said it. Like, well, they know why. Like,
Yeah, some other things started causing heart problems at the exact time as all this other things started causing heart problems.
Yeah, we could talk about it in the
we have
after hours.
we have an unprecedented number of children dying across the globe.
I'm not.
or hepatitis. Like a lot of kids are getting hepatitis,
that's so weird.
and it's
I've
all
not heard this.
yeah.
What's this about?
Yes, so many kids all throughout the world are coming down with this mysterious hepatitis, and they don't know what it's coming from, and they don't know anything. And I'm like, and it's in the range of kids who aren't vaccinated too, like younger kids below the age threshold. But there's someone posted in the comment. Now I don't know this at all, so I'm still baffled by this because I don't know what it is, and I think it's real strange. But one person in the comment said, "Well, according to the Israeli survey, COVID presents itself as hepatitis in children." And I was like, I was like, really? Like, I didn't know. I didn't know if you guys heard anything about that or not.
Fucking odd news to me.
Yeah, so I don't know if anyone hears that in the comments. Let me know.
I know that there's a correlation between AIDS and COVID, but hepatitis would be a new one.
I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird thing. It's going around. No one has any explanation for it. I was just kind of like, oh well.
There's a lot of, and we could talk about it in the after hours, but I was kind of like my girlfriend's been dealing with it with her mom, and we could talk about it more in detail because I don't want to talk a lot of, but yeah, man, it's like you can't tell me like that all of a sudden all these symptoms are just cropping up and that they're not tied to like this fucking jab that just came out. Like, come on now.
These 20-year-old people with 18-year-old people and 17-year-old people that happen to get a vaccine suddenly are having heart attacks.
Yeah, suddenly like there's rise in myocarditis and all this other like rare shit that you never see in young, healthy individuals. And it's like, come on now. Like, what the fuck's going on.
I mean, I talk about it with my dad. I mean, my dad passed away, and I everything correlates to he got the booster, the first booster shot, and he immediately just, I mean, there's a lot of correlation. I have no proof, but he died of heart failure, and his heart gave out.
That's why my fat ass wasn't getting it. I don't need to put any more stress on this fucking thing.
And the thing is, he was, he was bad off. You know what I mean? He was on the mend from some surgery, but at the same time, though, even before his surgery, he couldn't catch his breath. After he got the vaccine, he just couldn't catch his breath, and it was weird because that's not how he was.
What's really funny is that when your unfunded liabilities are really, really high, it almost seems like you're kind of be looking for something to come through and take out all of the old people.
Doomers.
It's weird how both the vaccine and the disease itself really go after the old people.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't think there's going to be another round of it coming up, and I don't know. They're going to definitely try to capitalize on this monkeypox.
You mean the millions of rounds of smallpox vaccine that they just fucking ordered?
Smallpox?
Yeah,
where's
that's
the
how you treat monkeypox.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You got the small docs for the smallpox.
Let's go search smallpox and fucking Bill Gates. You'll get there.
You got to pull up that meme. That's pretty good.
But I hope it's not intentional. I hate to hear that or think that the government is intentionally killing off old people to get out of paying Social Security and Medicare. It's a dark thought.
I mean,
I don't think the government honestly cares. I don't think they care if they can't pay it out. Like, what? Yeah, they're just gonna print more fucking money. It doesn't matter. They don't care about like, oh no, What are we gonna do when the old people get mad?
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. It's not the government has governments are meaningless. Like this is all done at like the level above that. This is like the people that run big NGOs and fucking, the UN and shit. People that have big money with ideas on how to make the world a better place. who
Uncle
all
Klaus.
believe overpopulation is the biggest threat that we face as people.
Well,
Yeah,
you
speaking-
said
speaking of
unfunded
Uncle-
li-
So it's
un-
humanitarian to kill off old people to make life better for the young.
when you said unfunded liabilities, I immediately thought of the government with Social Security and Medicare.
Well, I mean, the people that have money invested in our governments, that's what I'm kind of getting at. That's how all this stuff manifests, is like where their money goes. And like a complete, like, as I always say, if you start getting into like the real tinfoil hat era, you can't think of the powers that be as one entity, because they're not. It's a bunch of hyper wealthy people, all with their own visions for what the world should be like. And sometimes they agree on shit, sometimes they don't. And sometimes their approaches to however they think the world could be better are going to be different. And so you're going to get different ways of meddling for different ideas. Like Elon Musk is involved in all the same shit as all the people in the World Economic Forum. He's listed on their fucking webpage, has been for years. But he definitely seems to have at least a slightly different approach to how he goes after things. So you can at least give that to him.
I don't know, man. I still don't trust him.
Oh, I
What's
don't trust
going on
him
with
either.
what's going on? Is he out of the Twitter deal now, or?
Well, there was allegations floating around, right?
Oh yeah, didn't he offer somebody a horse for sex?
Yeah, he was like,
250 grand is what he offered her. And
But it was
No,
just like a
no.
horse too.
I thought that was to be quiet over what he did.
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought he exposed himself to a woman, and then she. And
Well-
to keep not.
So if you actually read what happened, and this is hilarious because No Agenda pointed this out in the last episode, that if you read the article, he exposed himself and was completely naked with the exception
covered up.
exception of a cover over the bottom half of his body.
yeah,
like-
it was.
Well, that's
It's not
yeah,
naked.
it was a
then. That means
former.
he was
That's not
half
naked.
covered.
Yeah,
Sure.
But
Yeah,
that's how they get this shit in in the mind's eye. Like
Oh,
they
God.
started by telling you it's naked, but then telling you it's not naked in the same damn sentence.
yeah, it was a face. Yeah, he faced a sexual assault claim from a SpaceX flight attendant.
Look, I'm
Report.
sorry.
He
this is
Elon
not-
exposed-
Report.
Yeah.
Elon Musk offered to buy flight attendant horse in exchange for erotic massage. Exposed himself.
That is not
Mm.
assault. That is just having a conversation with someone that went poorly.
I mean, I would say exposing yourself is it's not assault, but it's borderline.
not good
like
game.
sexual harassment.
yeah. Blame the autistic guy for exposing himself, asking to get fucking handled.
Yeah.
that's.
Like-
I mean, isn't that what that comedian did that too, right?
By the way, there's nothing fucking.
Yeah, but at least Louis like asked first, right?
Yeah,
He
he asked
asked.
every time.
Yeah, he asked. I don't think it doesn't sound like Elon. If this even happened, that he asked.
Well, no, that's
but-
the thing. That's the point. She was giving him a massage. That's what the woman's fucking job was.
Yeah.
And he asked for a happy ending during his
Yeah.
massage.
Oh, dude.
It's
I
like-
mean,
That's like a conversation you'd have. Like, hey,
That's
right.
are you
Deal-
offering extras? What's
Yeah,
the
that's-
upsell here?
The
Yeah,
that's what
the
happened.
Oh, sorry,
old
that's
rub
not
and
in
tug.
my menu. Okay.
Yeah. Well,
That's what happened to the quarterback.
exactly.
Is it
Deshaun
Cleveland
Watson.
Browns now?
Dan
yeah,
Marino?
Watson.
Yeah.
No, Watson.
Dan
That's why
Marino.
he's in trouble.
Wait, I
He
thought
did that-
Watson had like a bunch of them though.
Yeah, like
Well,
20.
yeah,
he
he-
did it like 20 times.
Well,
He was
he
asking
routinely-
for rubbing tugs.
It's like,
I don't know
bro,
if he
there's
just
20
asked.
times.
They're
There's
saying he didn't
apps
just
and maps
ask.
for that.
It's like, dude, if
Yeah.
if it takes you 20 times, maybe you're going to the wrong place, bro. Like,
Right.
look it up.
Well,
It shouldn't be
they-
that hard to find that in Cleveland.
I
I'm just saying.
know. Just fucking just go to Rum Maps, man.
yeah.
Well, what he did was, I'm pretty sure the move is he's naked, getting a back massage, and he just rolls over and was like,
Right.
"Now do my front" type of thing.
Yeah,
I think that's what he does, and they're all like, "No, sir, sorry, we don't do that." And he was like, "Okay, that's what I assumed. I
Now-
could be wrong."
Is
Well,
that
this
a
happened-
is it a
this happened
skeezy
years
fucking
ago,
thing to
too.
do? Absolutely.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, exposing yourself to somebody should not be a fucking crime. I just don't believe it.
If it's a minor,
Well, a minor, yes. I don't think many minors are giving fucking massages.
I mean,
Just that would look bad for the massage parlor.
not
In
legally.
context, it's two adults. They're in private, right? Yeah,
It's in poor taste. Obviously, I will
Yeah.
totally
This
back you up on that. But
Well, it's clearly like, a cultural ethic, right? It's not like any sort of like libertarian thing where like, oh, exposing yourself violates the nap.
but
It's
that's the
just
thing.
like
There are people.
it's a
who believe
cultural
that-
norm that we
ideas,
have in
Derek.
this country.
there-
Whether it's good or not, but it does exist.
There's a strain of people. I mean, I'd say probably most modern leftists that believe that you have a right to go through your life never seeing anyone naked that you don't want to see naked. And I just fundamentally think that's fucking stupid.
Even no,
Oh,
it's
yeah, I
more
mean, I
than that. They feel like they shouldn't have to go through life offended by anything. That's
that
what
too.
that is.
Right.
That's not just seeing people naked. That's everything.
He
And
exposed
when
himself,
you're fat
okay?
and you're ugly,
See,
seeing
laugh
people
at-
naked is very offensive.
Just laugh at the small dick and get it over with.
Right,
Like,
Otto? Just kidding.
No, you're not.
No, I'm talking about the blue hairs.
Blue hairs.
Yeah, the blue haired Twitter.
Oh, blue check. Yeah, the blue check.
Well, blue hairs and blue
Yeah.
check.
Yeah. Sometimes when they got a double, you got to run for the hills.
Yeah.
Fuck that, man.
Run
Yeah, but all this
for the
come-
hills.
And all this came about. I mean, this was back in 2016. This is all just coming out because of the whole potential acquisition of Twitter, which I don't think it's going to happen.
free the
Baby.
nipple.
Well,
Yes.
I mean, as
Liberty
as-
Revolution says.
as Adam Curry says, like he thinks it's just to blow up Twitter. Like they were going to lose control of Twitter and let's just sink it. It's too
Could be
hard to
that.
maintain.
I saw a meme that like he came out and said, "I'm voting Republican now. The Democrats are no longer the party of tolerance," or something like that.
Dude,
And then it
Republicans
was
are
like a
essing
day
his
later.
duty so much.
Well,
right
he
now.
said I'm no longer a Democrat. Expect the hit pieces to come, and then a day or an hour later, that article came out. But then the story is that they gave him a warning that they were going to print the article, and then he
Yeah,
posted that
clearly.
tweet. So
Look, the bitch accepted the money. Sorry, nothing happened.
yeah, I mean, this is like okay.
That was my biggest issue with the whole.
I mean,
Me
you're a
Too
billionaire,
movement.
and this is the worst thing you've done. I mean, that's
The only people that have anything to stand on in the Me Too movement was anyone who didn't take the fucking money.
Yeah,
If you suck my dick, I'll give you the movie role. Okay, well then you made a calculated decision to further your career. Sorry. Yeah, if you didn't want to do it, you wouldn't have done it, and then you go to the cops. But it's an awful lot of you that were more than happy to just sit and take the job and let the next girl deal with that shit. So fuck you.
Yep.
I'm just feeling sauced up tonight.
I know.
Damn.
I know
Oh,
you're
that's
on a
wild.
roll.
Well, it is
I
kind
love
of
it.
messed up if you pay $200,000 in hush money and then they don't hush. It's like, all right, like
Yeah,
I thought we
like,
had a
what did I
deal
pay
here.
for,
You
bro?
know?
well, they want to get more money from you.
It's ridiculous.
You give them an inch, and they want a fucking yard.
Can you say Stormy Daniels? What?
Right.
You give
Dude,
him
she
an
was
inch.
going. She was like touring. She was like touring strip clubs on that. Dude, she was at the fucking strip club over next to the barbecue place.
Oh, gold. Oh, the pit beef place.
Yeah. What's
So-
it called?
Come for the pit
Chaps.
beef.
It's
Yeah,
like right next to a strip club, and I was over there getting beef, and
Yeah.
all types
roast
of beef
beef.
in there.
yeah, and then I looked at the sign, and it was like Stormy Daniels coming April whatever.
Yeah, it was just
yeah.
a big. It was just a grift. It was just a big,
I was like,
you know,
damn,
publicity
yeah,
stunt.
These people know how to
Make that money.
Did
Yeah.
that already happen, or is that in the past?
Oh, what you want to go?
Oh,
this
that was
weekend,
like
Kyle?
back when Trump was relevant.
Yeah. I was like,
It
wait a
was like
second,
he was
where is
president.
this?
Yeah.
He was
So
like, oh well, I'm back in the news. I might as well make some extra dough.
I know I showed up late and I missed like the itinerary. Did you guys get the whole Jack
Itinerary.
Posobiec thing on the list for today?
Oh yeah, no, I heard something
Oh,
about
what's
that.
that?
What happened?
He's
touched
at
some
Davos.
kid?
He's in Davos.
he's
for
in
this World
Davos.
Economic. Klaus Schwab and
And the
Mm.
police came up and tried to detain him. Like he was stopped. They asked him for his press pass and all his, visa. What not visa? what
Oh,
am I
he was
saying?
like at the thing.
yeah, no, he's
Yeah.
I thought
there.
we found out he was like in it.
No,
No,
he's
no.
he's
Turns out-
there doing journalism.
Yeah.
And was stopped once, and then they tried to same thing happened. He was sitting there at lunch. They come up on him again, doing the same whole rigmarole. And luckily, there were a few other journalists there at the same time that like got all cameras up in their faces. Like who what is this about? Why are you detaining this man? And like, they really didn't want to talk about it, and ultimately let him go on it. But there's a lot of speculation is, had those other journalists not been there at the time, that they just would have whisked him off somewhere not to be seen. It's ripe for speculation, folks. Jack
I know.
Posobiec is one of those kind of guys that you can see them doing that with.
You mean taking him to a black ops place?
Well, that'd be if it was a government thing. I think that they call them something different when private citizens own them.
Really makes you think, huh?
How about baby formula? You know, I wanted to. I just
How
wanted to give
about it?
Yeah, so
That was
they
a
were
great
gonna,
tradition.
there was a bill to pay for baby formula for I guess low income citizens, and just a few Republicans voted against it, and it was like Massey was in there, and I forget who else, Louis Gohmert. It was like 9 of them, and they're getting blasted in the media, and I was just like, man, this country, it's like,
Why don't they just
vote against
reopen the ones?
handouts-
Why don't they just reopen the fucking plants that they shut
Yeah, what I was
down?
gonna say is that since that statement didn't follow with this country is fucking retarded, like it's not an accurate statement. Like they just, what was it, 32,000 pounds of baby formula that they carted in. They're flying into Indiana for hospital use. Basically, it's the only people going to get it. I don't know how you guys. Otto's the only one that has kids. I don't know if you know they actively talk women out of breastfeeding in hospitals.
They did it first. They did that. I noticed that when I first had
They've been doing it for years.
my daughter. Okay, so we went to the same hospital for my first daughter, all 3 children, and after we had daughter, they were like very pushy with formula. Like they take the baby away to go, like, we're gonna do this type of test. We're gonna clean them off like this. But by the time we went back for my son, they were very like, no, we don't take the baby anymore. We don't do any of that. Try to breastfeed. And they actually like talked about breastfeeding positively. And then we went back for our youngest daughter. There were some complications with with my wife and her delivery. And so like our daughter wasn't getting enough, like my wife's milk wasn't coming in, so she wasn't getting enough. And then they're like, well, if she doesn't lose, if she loses any more weight, you guys have to put her on formula. And my wife's like, no, like I've done this twice before. I'm not putting her on formula. It's not happening. And
My body will adjust. It knows what the hell it's doing.
Right. And so then I had to like personally feed my daughter like some of my wife's like molestrum or milk. What is it? I forget what it's called. Yeah. Colostrum. Thank you. And I had to like personally feed that to a tube like on my pinky to get my daughter to have that while my wife was struggling. She couldn't sit up. She had like a spinal headache or whatever because they missed when they gave her the whatever.
That sounds awful.
I forget what it's called. I don't know. My brain's
Epidural.
fried. The epidural. Thank you. Jesus Christ.
I was gonna say that.
Yeah.
What is it?
Epidural.
Epidural, yeah.
Yeah, so they missed, and they ended up like giving her a spinal headache, so she had to lay flat, and she was like in a lot of pain. So it was hard for her to breastfeed her youngest daughter. So it was, but yeah, I did notice that like things had started to change where they started promoting a little bit more of breastfeeding than what it was when we first had our daughter, our oldest daughter.
And a lot of it still kind of depends on the particular practice that you go to. But there's a lot of, because they don't want liability, they want easy, and they promote, hey, do the easy thing, because breastfeeding can be difficult to get the kids to latch to that first time and stuff like that. And it does take some effort. And God forbid they give you any advice that like leads to a child dying or something like that that's not agreed with by their medical organization, like the AMA or whatever it is. It's pretty intense, like how that works.
The AMA is so corrupt.
Oh,
I mean, they're just so of course they're gonna like go along with, well, hey, we're gonna recommend wherever the money's at, like wherever. Oh, hey, we could sell a lot more with all these formula companies. So AMA just recommend. Like,
well,
9 out of 10 doctors recommend.
While you have them doing that, you then have them not allowing any businesses outside of the U.S. to supply formula. You're only allowed to use American companies for formula.
Well, that was weird. Like somebody was saying buy from Amazon Canada, and
Yeah,
then they
that
were
was
like,
me.
"Oh, they shut that down." Like immediately, it was like a day later that you weren't allowed to do that anymore. That
Mhm.
loophole was closed. I'm like, why would they close that? I was so confused.
Well, it's they're trying to protect you, Kyle. They don't want you dying from Canadian formula, right?
formula.
Because
Look,
clearly
I'm
it's
not
killing
saying
all the
we're gonna.
Canadians, right?
I'm not gonna
Right.
say we're gonna make Kyle an ANCAP again, but we're gonna make him really, really hate government.
We're gonna get them
No.
close.
I didn't understand that. I was like, it was working fine, and I didn't know why they would want to shut out any kind of supply relief.
Well,
But
and by the way, the supply issues on this aren't new. Like they've known for months. They're just now in the news. So
Right.
if they really gave two shits about it, they could have been making plans 2 to 3 months ago about all this. Same thing, they could have been doing about anything they were running out of. They could have been making alternate plans. But that's not what the goal is. The goal is fear.
The goal is Klaus is trying to kill us.
Well, that too. But the fear is the more important thing right now. We need to scare you into asking for that one world government.
Yeah, like, oh, look, because it's like such a publicity stunt, just like you said, Nikki P. Like they're flying that flight over from Ramstein Air Base, and they're making this huge press release that, oh, look at the Biden administration, look, government's saving us, and just like today, I dropped off the lawn, I mowed my girlfriend's lawnmower, and we're just like sitting having a beer and watching what in Normie News just happens to be on. But I'm just sitting there watching. And I'm like, they're not even explaining like what the fuck's going on. Like all these stories are just fear and emotion. Like, for example, we were talking in the pre-show about the gas. Like, why is gas going up and the gas tax, or why things they don't explain shit. And then when they were explaining, they were interviewing a mother and trying to pull
did you
at
know that
heartstrings. Like
our wheat shortage is because of what's going on in Ukraine.
Ukraine. That's
You know how much-
or it could be the
5
formula.
weeks left.
Do you know how much of the world's wheat the Ukraine
Like
is in
like
charge
it's
of?
eighth largest producer in the world. It's like not that
It's
significant.
3%. We produce
Yeah.
more wheat than the Ukraine does. We export.
But what's happening? It's the fertilizer shortage. Like everything's blaming everything.
Well,
Everything
it's-
trace it back to
It's
Ukraine.
also that we've pissed off countries like India and China who aren't going to be exporting any of their wheat,
Right.
or Russia. It has nothing to do with fucking Ukraine.
That's why you need to grow your garden, your victory garden.
And
this
mine's
year.
looking pretty nice right now.
Yours is base, dude. I was seeing a picture of it. I got nothing.
Pulled some fucking lettuce off the wall, put it on a
Hell yeah.
BLT today. It was
Oh,
great.
hell yeah.
That
Nice,
rocks.
dude.
You growing your own bacon too?
No, but I do have a particular farm that I get it from. Same place I get my cow.
Nice, man. Yeah. Well, I was just listening to I think I sent the article. I didn't put it in the chat though, Jared, but
How dare
and they
you?
were talking about it. John Odermatt had him on, and this guy, he's from Texas. He's 11th or like multi-generational cattle rancher, and they're trying to connect the Bitcoin community with cattle ranchers that are really promoting like I forget what they call it.
Regenerative agriculture.
Yes, exactly. Sustainable, where so just trying to spread the word amongst ranchers where you can like basically value for value. Here's Bitcoin, here's a whole cow. It's called the Beef Initiative. I started following the guy on Twitter, but it was a really interesting article. But it just goes to show it just goes to show, and going back, like, it's with, you have the World Economic Forum going on. There's a fucking agenda going on. Like it's not like when you see everything, when you're connecting all the dots, it's like, wait a minute. And you hear all the like,
You don't even have to connect that many dots.
no,
Like,
and
at this
the other
point,
thing,
it's
dude,
pretty
dude,
out in the open.
Dude, think about it. All these places are pushing Beyond Meat, like Beyond Meat, and all this like new, like the
Yup.
Green New Deal. Dude, watch any fucking football game. Like they literally have ex-football players pushing like, like the plant-based chicken
Mhm.
wings from like Wingstop and shit. And think so. There is an agenda going on, like where they're pushing all this shit. They're buying. You got Gates buying up all this farmland. Like
they
there's
try
just,
and tell you that cows are carbon positive, or they're carbon positive beings, except for they're not.
Right.
Like, to get to that calculation is completely bonkers the way that they have to do it. What they are is giant fucking fertilizer machines to grow all your fucking food. Like, that's the biggest problem that we have, is that we decided to separate animal farming from plant farming.
Yeah,
And the bottom line is plants and animals kind of need to work together to live. They can't live well without each other. It's that shit that gets stomped into the ground that provides like the nutrition for plants to grow. And then the plants grow, and then that's what the more nutritious the food is. That's like why is it such a big deal that we don't have our fertilizer? Well, it's because we fucking destroyed our soil, and nothing grows in it without pumping it full of new shit. We've burned it up. It's garbage. Meanwhile, just throw a couple cows on that property. Like I don't know if you've ever looked up a video on regenerative farming. You can literally turn desert into fucking Greenland. If you do it properly. It's wild.
The name of it's called the Beef Initiative, and they're having a conference, and he was talking about it on
I'll have to look it up, man.
Yeah, it's called the Beef Initiative. The guy on Twitter, I think he goes by Texas Slim. I forget his Twitter handle, but
seemed like he's 30 too. He's a young guy.
Yeah, really. But
I've listened from somewhere else, I think.
But it's really cool, like what that just basically creating, like you're seeing this crisis in the agenda, and just how they're creating a parallel, economy to kind of just of. So it's really interesting, and just getting more ranchers and farmers on board.
I was just reading an article about such and such had lost so much money in their city from flooding due to global warming. No, somebody lost billions of dollars in flooding because they built their fucking city in a floodplain.
Yeah, dude, they're really pushing that shit.
Stop spending money in places where shit happens. That's what you do.
Yeah, they're really pushing that too. Have you guys noticed that with like all of the weather lately? When you get like weather updates, it's like severe weather, and they're really pushing this climate change bullshit. For example,
you have a farmer's almanac? Because one thing you do if you got a farmer's almanac is you realize I hit that fucking extreme.
Yeah, it was last year. It was just a couple days ago, and I was listening to the Phillies game on the radio, and they interviewed the guest, and he was this retiring weatherman who's been this longtime weather reporter in the Philadelphia area. And it was weather day, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm retiring." And they're interviewing him before the game. And he's like, "Yeah, I got to continue on to fight the crisis of our time, which is global warming." And I'm like, "Oh, for fuck's sakes, I just want to listen to a goddamn baseball game." And they're like just pushing this agenda, and it's like, what the fuck? So they're really pushing this climate change, this Agenda 2030, this whole shit that's going on. They're really trying to ramp up all this bullshit, but. The other thing too is like they're just exposing the playbook so much on everything that's going on. Like just I think in our Clown World segment, did you guys see? Well, that's kind of you have Biden who's straight up like calling for war with Taiwan. You have Bush,
with China, right?
Which if China invades Taiwan, that basically the U.S. will he just was like, "Yep, we're going to intervene." And if you look at the video, he basically has like, now granted, he's over in South
Just for the record, there's no business in us intervening in that. There's nothing that we can do. And Taiwan's like ability to protect itself is pretty fucking wild.
Yeah.
Like China is going to lose a lot of fucking people trying to take on Taiwan because it's too fucking rich, too rich a place. And like what they've put in place to fight China specifically, like their drone warfare, like their missiles, like they're going to take out huge chunks of China as they try to cross that channel.
Wow,
that sounds frightening. But I don't know. Who knows at this point what China's planning to do? And I didn't think Russia would invade Ukraine, but that threw me off guard. And I want to know like what's the end game now with that? Because you see, like I don't know if they're having a hard time or they're not going to full-fledged warfare with Ukraine to where like they're not going scorched earth like how the US would do it.
Oh, you haven't put this together yet?
Tell me, Nick. Tell me.
What's going on?
Look it down, Nicky P.
Look, whose name was on the WF website before all this happened? Putin. All right.
Oh, boy.
And what have our politicians been fucking salivating over since the minute it ended back in 91? The fucking the fucking, the Cold War. They want the Cold War. They need the Cold War because that's fear to keep everyone fucking giving up all their rights. This is just meant to be a Cold War. That's all. Keep Russia being a boogeyman to us.
Yeah,
Russia's getting fined by it.
Expand NATO.
Exactly.
And arm them
Every
up
play in
and
this
bring
is
them in
fucking
and train
reinvent
them.
the Cold War.
Yep.
Well, they fucked up when they got rid of it.
I don't know if I want to say I'm surprised anymore because nothing really surprises me. But the fact that no one's correlating the fact that, well, we just got done spending $60 billion a year in Afghanistan. And now that we left, we're just going to find something else.
Well, no, it just happens to be the same amount that we sent them.
You're right. It's the same amount. And like
same price tag.
The first year not being in Afghanistan, and yet here we are arming the fuck out of Nazis in Ukraine. Like, why is no one putting this together? Like, why does it got to be my fat ass to have to do that? Like, why? Like, shouldn't everyone be seeing this?
Got to spend that budget, I guess. I don't know.
Oh,
yeah, Liberty Revolution has a good point here. He's like, wonder what the virus they would have used rather than the monkeypox if Putin didn't put an end to all the biolabs in Ukraine. I mean,
that's
Nick.
That's not to think about it,
dude. That was so funny. I think you posted it a couple weeks ago.
It was hilarious, but what was really hilarious about that whole thing was the walk back. There's no biolabs there. Oh, I mean, there's biolabs there, but they're not ours. Well, I mean, they might be ours, but they're nothing that like is dangerous. Well, I mean, they might be dangerous, but nothing that's like what we've had. It's just like every time. If they would have kept talking about it by now, they'd be saying, "Oh yes, like we were actively working on coronaviruses there. We can show you the scientists that like propagated it out into the planet."
Yeah, I felt bad because some guy posted it in the Mises Caucus group. And they post this thing like, Putin's attacking all the U.S. biolabs in Ukraine. I'm like, oh, okay, dude. Deny. Like, yeah, dude. No thanks. Like, you're crazy. There's no biolabs in Ukraine.
Well,
and then the story
American.
came out like
they're not American biolabs. We just pay for them to run.
So then the story came out like the day later. I was like, oops, my bad. I didn't realize.
Well, go back to the China biolabs. Oh, they're not American biolabs.
Yeah,
we just provide the funding through
universities,
through these third-party, non-NGOs. Like that's what happens. We just give the money to this NGO, and if they happen to do, testing on viruses, I mean, that's just what they do, But we gotta give the money to the appropriate places,
It's the same thing they do with abortion when they're like, oh, the taxpayer doesn't pay for abortions. We just give billions of dollars to Planned Parenthood. And what they do with it, I mean, it's their money at that point, so we're not paying for it. You're like, what? Like,
and we're giving it to them for birth control. And if,
a dollar's a dollar,
I mean, either way, it's fucking, racist and evil. So,
or here, even simpler. You give a homeless guy $20. You're like, yeah, he's gonna use that for food.
Nope.
Is he?
While we're talking about Planned Parenthood, let's all remember Bill Gates' father's involvement in Planned Parenthood. Never forget.
Yeah, or Margaret Sanger was a eugenicist. Yeah. But anyways,
Margaret Sanger is Klaus Schwab's grandmother.
Dude, speaking of Kyle, speaking of dollar bills, you wanted to touch on inflation, and you just went to an O's game this weekend and saw how.
Yeah, I went to an Orioles game. So I haven't been to a baseball game in several years. I don't think I've been to a sporting event since before COVID, like a major sporting event. So it was kind of a sticker shock for me. I could see the inflation that we've experienced.
You spent less than $100.
3 years. No, I spent more than 100. 2 beers alone was $32 plus tip.
Damn.
I mean, they were large cans, but they were domestics. So, but I was still just like, I mean, I think I had a 20 ready, or like I was like, it's probably gonna be 25, and it was 32. I was like, Jesus. And then
I went and saw a movie with my kid, my kid and wife a couple weeks ago. There's 3 of us. It definitely broke $60 for just a goddamn movie.
Dude, they don't even Kyle, do they have beer vendors at all? They don't walk through the stadium anymore, do they?
I didn't see any coming up and down the stands. I did see like a guy with like a bucket of ice and a bunch of beers like out in the hall.
Yeah, but not actually like walking through the stadium.
No, not walking up and down. And I did want to say, like, we got sausages, and my buddy was like, man, these used to be twice the size.
That's
you
what she
know,
said.
and
Kyle really
so,
dislikes a small sausage.
yeah, they've shrunk the
Nothing that
sausages.
gets Kyle's goat more than a small sausage.
And it reminded me of product shrinkage, right? They do it with cereal boxes are the ones I always notice. Like when I was a kid, a family-sized cereal
Yeah.
box was like 3 times as thick as it is now.
What about your peanut butter?
Yeah.
Peanut butter used to have a flat
getting
bottom on the
recalled now.
jar, and
Yeah.
now I got a fucking huge jars in my prep pantry that I got to get rid of. So we're like, we're making? We think we decided we're making cookies out of it.
Yeah.
Pete's
that safe?
prep.
I'm not fucking throwing it out. I'll put it through the cooking process, and then
Mickey
that should take care
P's
of it.
prep pantry
Probably okay, though.
on today's episode.
It's not just price increases, right? It's product shrinkage, which I find even more annoying than price increases because I'm like, dude, where's the rest
with
of
peanut
it?
butter? They used to have flat bottoms. That if you look at your peanut butter now, there is like a divot in the bottom of the
Huge
jar.
Absolutely.
That, like
Same
gets
thing with
bigger every
sodas.
couple of years.
Same thing with soda bottles. I mean, remember the soda bottles growing up? Like they used to just be like completely circular. Now, like they do like this wavy action that like goes in. And you're like,
Wait, so they're not
that's
actually
for-
a liter? Has anyone actually like poured it out and measured it?
Yeah, that's a thing too, because I see some.
Well, didn't they used to be 24 ounces, and then they were 22 ounces, and then they were 20
Yes.
ounces?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean for like a small bottle? not
Yeah,
like a liter.
And the liters, they used to sell 2 liters of soda. Do you guys remember that?
2 liters?
Like,
That's the
So
only
maybe
thing I
it's better
drink.
that they don't sell you 2 liters.
Right. I
Well,
mean,
I'm just talking for the price of, for the argument here.
Yeah, I get you.
Mhm.
Whether they're healthy or not. But I mean, they used to sell that stuff. I remember seeing it at stores like, the big, oh, the
You guys,
of course it's
wait, you
generic.
guys don't get 2 liters of soda still?
I don't drink soda,
I don't.
dude.
Yeah,
yeah,
I
I
don't.
got soda. Yeah.
Oh no, dude, I'm quitting.
I drink
I'm
this. I just
quitting
drink
caffeine
beer
right
all day.
now actively. No, I mean most of my gardening is done in fucking 2-liter bottles right now. Like,
Yeah.
And they I don't know what's a 2-liter cost. Usually about $2.49, something like that now.
Jeez, man, that shit was 99 cents growing up.
Well, I think every libertarian knows about the Federal Reserve, knows about inflation, knows that they're creating more and more money every year. Which is something that you don't hear from any other political group. They have no concept of money and what they're doing to our money.
Well, they have their own what is it? The modern monetary theory, right?
Yeah.
Which basically says that you can just print as much money as you
Well,
want.
no, that's
and
a problem. Like,
everything's cool.
modern monetary theory is even technically wrong. It's fairly accurate to the model, but they don't ever do what they say they're supposed to do. Even in modern monetary theory, when you're in the positive, you're supposed to fucking pay back the money you took out. They just never do.
No.
Even
Well,
though
yeah, it's like any of their
wrong.
any of those like left leaning theories. They're all like, well, in principle, like perhaps this could work, but like it doesn't work in practice.
It's like you should have raised interest rates already and been working on paying back the money that was borrowed, but they never fucking do it.
Nope.
Yeah, they just ride it out until they can just crash it in one fell swoop and then claim it's Ukraine and Russia or something.
I mean, and technically, like historically, yeah. I mean, anytime we've had shit get really bad, we do just kind of welch on the fucking money and then start a new register for what it works, But
Well,
we go from a bubble to a crash, and then they just try to keep the party going.
speaking of keeping the party going.
Well, hold
Sorry,
on.
that was good. I'll let you
I was
finish
just going to
your
show
thought.
what
That was just
Matt
a good
Rice,
transition.
what Matt was saying. He's saying they're just waiting on people to warm up to CBDCs, central bank digital currencies.
I don't think they're waiting on people to warm up to them. I think they don't have them quite where they want them to be yet, because they need to get them very user friendly. Because they need your grandparents to be able to fucking use them, and that's the issue.
Well, my thing is they already have this. It's called just banking, the banking system.
Right.
It's all just digital. It's all centralized.
Yes.
They don't.
They
need,
already
like,
control
crypto.
the money.
They don't need a blockchain. They don't need any. They can call it a blockchain.
Oh no. That's the thing. They do need the blockchain. There's reasons on their end that they need it. Like the technology functions the way the technology functions.
I mean, I guess if they want an easier way to track the history of it and just keep.
Well, that's the
tabs on
point. The
everybody.
track and trace is the most important part about it for them.
They can
give a
accomplish
fuck
that
about
with the
currency.
existing system. It's just a little more difficult because you got to audit people and shit like that. But yeah,
guys-
with a blockchain, you can kind of just look at the chain and be like, well, here's what happened.
Yeah.
What's up, Otto? You all right?
Yeah, I just wanted to send this quick link over to you guys.
Got
that
some breaking
I
news
have.
at the end of the podcast. Like,
No,
you
we're not.
broke a lot of like big news, like right at the end of the podcast the past couple of weeks.
This is not breaking news. It's an opinion piece that I saw today, and it blew me away on how
Was it your
stupid
opinion?
it was.
Yeah,
Huh?
was it your opinion?
Your opinion?
No, it was not. But thanks, guys. I appreciate
Well,
that.
hurry up. Kyle's got to play some hockey, dude.
I know. I was trying to find it, but now. All right, so I'll just read it to you. I can't find the link on it here, so I'll just read it to you. So it says it's the Washington Post. Shocking. It's perspective. It is becoming clear that we need to regulate money's creation, exchange, and institutional management to mitigate risk posed by digital currencies to individuals, families, and businesses, and whole economies when digital asset companies fold. Digital currencies are repeating the problems of 19th century paper money.
That's why like all these other shit coins they're allowing them to fail and allow people to lose faith in them on purpose. Yeah.
So do you ask for the one coin to rule them all?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dude.
Bitcoin, baby.
Right.
I'm sorry. As time goes on, there are only three people in history I trust.
Autodazzing.
No, not at all. G.K. Chesterton, fucking
Ron Paul.
No, not even. I don't trust Ron Paul. He's still winning the fucking beast. No, they're two British fucking dudes. What is it? The guy, the C.S. Lewis,
Ronald McDonald,
and Tolkien.
C.S. Lewis.
Short list.
Tolkien, C.S. Lewis, and G.K. Chesterton. The only fucking people I trust.
I'm surprised you have C.S. Lewis on there.
I don't trust you either. How about that?
Why not C.S. Lewis? He's fucking Tolkien's best friend. He hated. He was super fucking anti-socialist.
But it was also like super pro-Christian.
Yeah, and fucking so wasn't Tolkien. So wasn't G.K. Chesterton. They're all Catholic. I think one of them is not Catholic. I don't believe C.S. Lewis was Catholic, but yes, he was hyper Christian. I don't give a shit about that stuff, man. As long as you're not trying to make me Christian, who gives a shit?
Nima, you put up Nima's last comment.
Libertarians not trusting people. That's strange.
That was a good one. Nima.
Thank
Nice.
you, Nima.
Hey,
Let's take this on to the after hours.
Is anybody coming to see me at Childeberg here this coming weekend?
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, Childeberg. That's where you'll find Nikki Pete, man. If you're not going to Reno like me and Alex are, go check out Nikki Pete down in where's that? Austin.
Yeah, we'll be hanging out at the Muleshoe Bend recreation area down in outside of Austin. It's a blast. We were there last year, had a great time. But then they're gonna have the music and comedy festival on Saturday. All the proceeds for anyone who actually goes, it all goes to Free Ross.
Awesome.
So
Fuck yeah.
I do believe there still are some campsites, but I mean, it's last I knew he had like 300 openings and at least 250 of them were gone. So like it's running out of room for people real fast.
That's awesome. I'm glad it's blowing up.
It is a super fun time. Like I know that Agora Brewing's going to be there with I know that there's going to be some mead get floating around. I know that there's going to be the cook camp that's going to be doing some tasty shit out there. So if you're in the area, I highly recommend you getting your ass out.
Awesome.
Will masks be required?
It's Texas, so
Are there
I don't think they do that there. I'm pretty sure Jacob has said to any question anyone has asked, I don't care. Don't get caught.
Nice.
That's been the rules.
Well, come out and see me and Alex if you guys are in Reno. Everyone's going to be there. This is
I'll have the PRL shirts for sale.
Yep. We'll have T-shirts for sale. So
$20.
Yep. Well, we'll talk about the price. If in the meantime,
make me an offer.
Yeah, maybe a hand job for a shirt. I don't know, something, whatever. It's a crazy time.
I mean, it's strange that you say that when we know that it is going to be a largely male audience, but
well,
that's why I was handy J's instead of blowjobs.
Yeah. Well, good HJ. You can't beat it. But actually, you can. Anyway, so buy your t-shirts in Reno. Come hang out. Alex and I, we go drink something, smoke something, have some fun. And for the rest of you guys, you can't if you guys don't make it out to Reno.
You suck and you should kill yourself.
That too. You can also go to libertariancountry.com where we have the rest of our t-shirts will be for sale. And if you use the code PRL or PRL podcast, you get a 10% discount. If you use the code PRL2, you'll get yourself a 20% discount if you spend $50 or more. And we also have CBD needs. Yeah, guys. If you any of your CBD needs, go to Wheelie's Pharmacy, use the code PRL podcast, get a 10% discount.
Not to be confused with CBDC.
Yes. No, don't buy CBDC.
Don't buy that shit.
And you're throwing me off. All right. So tonight we're brought to you by
Zingers. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh God. I'm not even drinking. This is what happens when I don't drink. Christ, I can't even read this. I can't even do our
Moral
reads
Bob.
right. Yeah, there you go. So
Moral
Hidden
Bob,
in
he's
Plain
cool.
Sight by Moral Bob. He's presenting this podcast with his great donation that on Patreon, which might I add, if you go to Patreon, you sign up for as little as $1 a month, you can check out all our podcasts, our After Hours one, which we're going to record right after this, except for Kyle, because Kyle's got to go to a hockey game, play a hockey game. I'm not going to make a field hockey joke. I'm not mad. I won't do that. I promise.
You won't do that every show.
Yeah. So, and if you guys don't like using Patreon, go over to PRLfans.com and find out other ways to donate to the show, like Bitcoin. And until next time, live free
Or die.